Hello and welcome to I Love Gay at Home, where actually today we're here with Matt Sicoli from it's the company Blue.
Vista 725.
Yes. All of a sudden, I had a senior moment at that very moment in time.
That's
So
okay.
thanks for joining us. And
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
you and I have known each other for I want to say 20 years plus. I
I
mean, I
know it's been
remember
a long time.
before I moved to New York, I remember walking down. I was at McDonald's, and I'm down like 8th Avenue near Penn Station, and there you are.
I I bumped into you in Disney World. Remember that in Orlando?
ah, it's
Which
just
was
strange.
crazy.
It's like a big. It's a very mad crowd. I mean, there's millions of people in New York. We're in Orlando, and yet all of a sudden, it reminds us of a small world.
Yeah, literally.
I know, literally, where we were.
Right.
No, but as you and I were chatting before, you're in the world of marketing and theater, and but you come from this world where people, I think, have assumed that everything's like Broadway, where the budgets are huge and spectacular, and the reality is that most theater has really learned to be scrappy over the years on limited budget and so forth, and barter has been a big part of that. And I would just say that as a marketing company in that space, you've really cut your teeth in that market, but really probably in some ways have become really an expert at the world of theater and barter. And I'm just gonna say you could talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, I kind of started in a marketing and advertising firm back in the day. So I did some time there, and I also worked for a media placement agency and buying company and things like that. So I really saw the world from all facets. I worked for producers, and then we had agencies working for us. So when I created my company about 9 years ago, I started to find different means of doing business and making sure that they were productive and increasing their ticket sales and making sure that everyone was doing well and thriving. So when we had shows that may not have these types of budgets, as you just mentioned, this isn't a a film or a TV show, blasting out tons of ad dollars. They would trade, tickets to us in order to get a lot of exposure out into the marketplace. So it was a barter arrangement where we would provide advertising in exchange for this type of placement on digital billboards, taxi tops, and mobile movie theater advertising, a lot of different assets to just get the exposure out there. But it's gone well. I think now, especially what's happening and inventory for cash and finances will be strained, and ad dollars will be strained. Barter will probably be a big part of this and how we can sort of alleviate that strain for them.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept that I think may end up being much more relevant over the next year in terms of everybody learning new ways. They say, what's the new normal going to look like? And nobody knows what that will be. But you're branching off, and you're not just focused on theater anymore. Now you're kind of taking this business model of barter, and you're actually taking it on the road and out and nationwide.
Right. The concept is we kind of can do anything, to be honest. We've had interns that have come in and said, when they learned our business, something that's a little bit different from most people, we're not sort of traditional, we're kind of a hybrid of a advertising marketing. We're kind of a media marketing promotions company. So they said, why don't more people work with you? We said, well, that's the point. We have to get more people and get them aware of it. That's kind of why we're also helping, this helps spread the word about us and what we do, which is fantastic. Thanks to you.
Yeah.
But we think that, attractions we've worked with, we've done a lot of different events that have come and gone, whether it's, hotels, restaurants, spas. We've worked with them, and we can continue to work with them in the same capacity, so that if you have a vacancy, obviously with a hotel now, you're going to be struggling, and we know you will be. So then you can trade your hotel rooms and hotel credits. Why is that good? Well, we'll have clients that want to go to concerts or want to go to events or ever in that area. We can use that for our people. And then we're branching out, nationwide. So we have done campaigns in Chicago, California, Boston before. So it's not necessarily we've just been doing theater. We have branched out and done certain cities, campaigns in different cities, but now we're going state by state, in a way.
Well, what about, I didn't ask you about this before, but what about influencers? Influencers, trade is kind of a big part of that, where, they're trading out meals for exposure and reviews or hotel rooms. Do you ever deal with in that market as well, or is that kind of separate?
It's interesting. A lot of that goes into the social media realm. So a lot of the times that people have social media outfits that they've hired to engage those types of influencers. But we have talked to some people where we could try to drive their messaging, have them sort of trade things even on their platforms, so that when they go to those places, they could then trade. And it's funny because honestly, they can even sometimes even do it themselves. We sort of just have the wherewithal and the contacts and the confidence and the awareness and the relationships that they may not be comfortable with. So.
Yeah, no, because I've dealt with Andrea Alton from Alton PR and a few others that, they're just these smaller marketing PR agencies in New York that focus on theater that have just learned to try to tap into, they'll just get they'll offer influencers to come to a show in exchange for, of course, they're looking for a little exposure. And the influencer gets a free show for the night. So it seems to.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like an even trade. What I was thinking about is more of like on a level of like a Kardashian of some sort.
Oh, yeah.
Where like they may not pay her. They don't have the money to pay her, $100,000 to post something, but maybe we could barter it.
Yeah.
And if we barter that, what does she get? Well, then she's going to get jewelry forever or whatever the case might be. But that's possible, and then today's day and age, that's definitely possible.
Yeah, no, I know most of the influencers in the LGBT world, we all wish they could be a Kardashian in that sense, and there's a striving towards that. But most of them are really focused kind of in that niche of micro influencers. And so that's where, that's an area that we've also explored. And so we're hoping that, even working with you in the future, there might be some opportunities in trying to match some of these folks up. So you get,
well, you absolutely. You just spoke with Ravi. Yeah. And we know Ravi too, and we had talked together about some things, and he was going to some high profile meetings, and we said, wait a minute, what, where are you going? Like, why don't we talk together? And we can come into that, because how it works also for us is we can be a great resource for a lot of people. If you have that meeting, let's say as an influencer, we have media that's available. So now we co-sponsor campaigns. So therefore it's Ravi with Heineken on a digital billboard or a static billboard, and now everyone wins and everyone's happy, and you got 4 players there, which is us, the vendor, the influencer, and the company, and everyone's benefiting. But sometimes when people think, oh, I'll just do it, I know it, or I'm familiar with them, they want to speak on their own behalf, which is fantastic, but they're selling themselves, they're selling their product. And when we come in as a resource, just kind of what you do, I mean, you have a lot of different kind of connections and what you can do and tap into the resources and everyone that in this landscape. They're not as savvy, and that's not a knock on them. It's just that something we can help with and benefit for them.
I think any of us, you, myself, any of us that are kind of in this advertising, marketing, social media world, I try to tell folks, I think part of the success or failure is based upon relationships. That even though everybody thinks that it's all it's all electronic and that everything we do is via email and direct messages and text, I always remind them that actually that's not the case at all. And I think that, and I actually think that, and I selfishly maybe speaking, I think it's an advantage to be willing and able to go out in the real world, talk to people, while some of the folks that we compete with, or some of the folks that are younger, will often say, nope, there's no reason to do that. I'm gonna send them a direct message on Instagram, and that's it. And that's and I'm like, no, there's another way of doing it. And I think that, but not only that, but I believe that that's the strength. I believe your strength is not only is your mix of understanding how to leverage these tools, but your personal relationships, because that's what people do, business with people.
Sure. I mean, honest, yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't disagree for sure.
And that's not going to change. It adapts and evolves, but it's not going to change. And I always say the one little thing: they do business with people that they like. And when they say, "Oh, it's not personal, it's business," they're fibbing. I'm not going to say they're lying, but they're fibbing.
Well, I tell you this: what I've loved the most about having my own company and doing my own thing is that I've been able to work with people like you, or be associated with people that you, and it's people who I like and people who I trust and people that I would like to have in my circle. And of course, I've had people that sometimes have been difficult, and I've had to navigate that. And I've done it throughout my career. But it's really a pleasure to be able to sort of position yourself in a way to say, I want to get behind this. I support this. I believe in this. So these are all the things that I'm going to do to make this successful. So it's definitely based on relationships. And we want everyone to be happy. I even tell people, I don't want your money, I want your business.
Yeah.
I want people to be happy. I want people to be successful. If you're successful, I'm successful. How did it go for you? Is everything working? We follow up. We do diligence. It's customer service, which is sometimes non-existent in a lot of these businesses, and we thrive on it. Everything okay? How did it go? This just came out. Congratulations. It's that kind of hand-holding that I think a lot of people always liked, even though they may not respond. You know, even sometimes, you know, a colleague that works with me, she would send out this correspondence and she'd say, you know, why are we not getting this kind of feedback? I'm used to kind of more feedback, and this is the way it's supposed to be. And I said, that's a different day and age sometimes. Doesn't mean they didn't receive it. It just means that they're busy, they're doing different things, but they won't forget. They won't forget. And it never changed us.
No, you're correct. I mean, I think that's a big part of why you're here in front of us today, and part of the success that you've had all these years is just, you know, you have a mix, and you've evolved over time, but it's a mix of understanding how a lot of this stuff works with some of the new, and now, especially when you talk about the barter world, I think that's going to open up a whole new set of doors for folks that had never even thought of it yet.
Right. And it's not a new concept, and a lot of companies are doing it out there. We're certainly not the only one, and you've done it probably yourself. But it's something that we kind of want to shine a light on at this time, because we think that everyone will be sort of struggling, including ourselves. I mean, obviously our business has gotten very affected by this. We do a lot of events. I mean, concerts and entertainment, and Lady Gaga. We had everything, you know, that was sort of ramped up at certain times, and campaigns that were running. And so we're conscious that everyone is going to be affected by this. We have the means to sometimes help them in a variety of sectors and ad categories. So that's all. Yeah.
No, I love that. So I'm going to make sure to include, when we post this video, you know, links and to your profiles and all that, so people can find you. And
Great.
and if they have any other questions, but hopefully you'll have some opportunities to work with some folks out there.
Perfect.
Well, thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you, Matt. You're always a pleasure.
Take care now.
Take care. Thanks, everyone.